What's going on, everybody? It's Coach Jess Lee, and today we are going over all things calories and tracking. I'm so excited to talk to you about this because there's a lot of information out there on how to lose weight, on how to be healthy, on how to get that lean and toned physique. And at the end of the day, every single thing you hear about that's going to work for you really boils down to calories at a foundational level. And a lot of times we reach for, there must be another way, there must be another way. Tracking is the most effective, efficient, and sustainable way to make things happen for you, your physique, and your life. So we are just going to dive right into it. The first thing that I want to make very clear to you is how many calories you're burning in a day, because it is way more than you think. And that allows you to realize that you still get to feed and fuel yourself even when you're trying to lose weight. So there are four ways that we burn calories. The first one and the largest one is our basal metabolic rate. This is our resting metabolic rate. Now, if you and I just sat here on the computer for 24 hours, we barely moved a muscle, we talked with our hands a lot, maybe we got up to pee. This is like a 24-hour road trip, and you stopped for gas and stopped to use the restroom, and you moved around in the car a bit. Minimum movement, the calories that it takes for you to just exist is 10 times your body weight in calories. So I weigh about 130 pounds. I burn about 1,300 calories a day just existing. So do the math on that for yourself. Then we include our exercise calories that we burn. So maybe you wear a watch, you track it, maybe you burn about 200 to 400 calories in your workout. Now, you don't work out every day, but there's a little added chunk there for you. Next is going to be your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, your NEAT. This is just your non-exercise movement. This is me doing chores, walking around the house, hanging out with my kid, talking with my hands a lot. I'm Sicilian. And all that movement is like a big chunk of your day as well, because it's all day long. And I'll dive into the importance of that. And then the last one, this is about 10% of your big number, is going to be your thermic effect of food, your TEF. This is how many calories you burn digesting your food, because your body has to work to digest food. And so it takes energy, AKA calories, to do that. Fun fact, you burn more calories digesting protein than you do carbs and fats. So you get a win there, even more of a reason to eat more protein. So we are burning a ton of calories. If you wear a watch or any type of smart tracker, at the end of the day, if you're getting a good 10,000 steps in, you're burning 17, 18, 2,000, 3,000, so many calories in a day. So we're not going to try to deprive ourselves of calories if our goal is to lose weight. Now, a lot of the references I'm going to make are towards losing weight, but losing weight also is synonymous in my world with toning up as well. So keep that in mind. Now, there are three ways that people struggle to lose weight when it comes to calories. The first way is that they're constantly overeating. They're eating more calories than they burn day in and day out. That just speaks for itself. We store the extra energy. So again, calories we eat are going to get either used or stored. There's two places they can go. They burn up and get used as energy, or they get stored and saved for energy later. And so we burn X number of calories in a day. If we eat more than what we burn, we save the extra. It has nowhere to go. Now, another way people struggle to lose weight is they are consistently under eating. Let's say that I burn 2,000 calories a day and I'm only feeding myself 1,000. Now you'd think, well, wow, you're in such a big calorie deficit. You're probably losing weight so fast. But what's unfortunately happening is that I'm training my body to only be able to handle 1,000 calories. And so on the off day that I have 1,500, 2,000, that's still less than what I'm burning, but my body does not know what to do with that. And so it will store that extra because my metabolism has slowed down. Also, when we very seriously undereat, we lose our muscle mass. Again, our metabolism slows down. Third way, and the most common way that people struggle to lose weight, is they're not tracking their calories. And so one day they may eat 1,500 calories, one day they eat 3,000, one day they eat 1,700, one day it's 1,100. We don't really notice those differences, especially when we're eating really calorie dense food, which is common, especially if you're struggling to lose weight. Calorie dense food is probably present in your life, not to say they're bad, but in keeping track of how many calories a day you're eating, you're really thrashing your metabolism by giving your body all these varying amounts day in and day out. This is also going to play into methods where people will eat more if they burn more, or eat less if they burn less, and we'll dive into that. But our body craves consistency. And so what we want to do in order to lose weight in a healthy and sustainable way is give it a consistent number of calories that is a very sustainable and true deficit. The best number for a calorie deficit is to eat 500 calories less than you burn, because 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So if I eat in a 500 calorie deficit across 7 days, I am going to lose at least 1 pound of fat per week. Now, week by week, this may seem like a small amount, but when you are 20, 30 pounds down, you're not going to think about that 1 week where it was only 1 pound. You're going to be like, look how far I've come. Look how I did it. And I wasn't starving, cranky, deprived the whole time. The research says that this rate of fat loss, it's very sustainable and it's very lifestyle-y. And so you're likely not going to gain it back because you didn't do it in some outrageous, crazy way where you're losing 5 pounds a week. You're also going to look really good as it happens because you're maintaining your muscle, because you're not depriving yourself, you're getting enough protein. So as your one-on-one coach, I put you at about a 500 calorie deficit. Now, what this means is that if you're going to be eating in a consistent deficit, that means you're eating the same number of calories and you're burning the same number of calories. And so what I need you to understand now is that I just need from you as my client or as a person that I'm supporting, that if you're going to be eating a consistent number of calories, you're going to be burning a consistent number of your bottom level calories. And this is reflective of your step count. So if you got a promise to be getting 10,000 steps a day, yeah, maybe some days you burn more. Maybe some days you work out harder. I'm not going to give you more food because of that. I just need a bottom level from you so we know we're in at least this deficit. And if on some days you're in steeper deficits, awesome. We're not going to give you more food to meet you there, because then we'll start to do this, but just with 2 ins and outs happening. We want consistency. And if you find that you are starving on the days that you train harder, yes, we will fuel you more. But let's seek that bottom level consistency through your step counts. On the days you don't exercise, it's very likely that you're going to need to take an extra walk or keep yourself a little busier so that you can stay at that same calorie deficit. So calories in each macro. So we have our calories, but when you start to track your nutrition, and hopefully tracking through me, you're having access to the grams of carbs, fats, and protein that you're having. So in our total calories, we have carbs, fats, and protein. All of our food is made up of these things. Now, calories or carbs and protein have 4 calories per 1 gram, and fat has 9 calories per 1 gram. And so you may find in your calorie and macro allotment that you're allotted significantly less fat than you are carbs and protein. And you'll find that while, yes, the grams are less, you're getting a lot of calories from fat because fat is just very calorie dense. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, and yes, just because peanut butter has protein in it does not mean it's a protein source. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is the same calories as a plate this big of broccoli. Okay. So we do not fear any macro because we eat them in the amounts that are right for our body, our goals. Yeah. So when we start tracking, which we're going to get into soon here, we really learn where these calories are coming from and how to portion our food and choose our ingredients so that the calories turn out really nice and simple for us and digestible, both physically and metaphorically. So other than our food, there are some other things that have calories in it that we need to account for. We still here? Okay. Sorry, I had something pop up. So there are some things that we need to account for other than just our food. Beverages, for example. I drink 1 Alani a day. Okay, I drink 2. I drink 2 Alanis a day. This is 5 calories. And so I'm getting 10 calories from this. Now, that's not a lot, but if I am spot on with my day, I'm like right there. Heck yeah. Oh, I'm actually 10 calories over. Oh, and that also happened with this other thing and this other thing, this list I'm about to go through. So we really need to account for these things because they add up and because they will take you out of your deficit on accident. So beverages are definitely one to account for. Supplements, a lot of supplements have calories. Your fish oil, hopefully you are taking a fish oil. I recommend Full Mega from First Form. I'll dive into that later. Has calories in it. Your greens powder has 30 or so calories in it. The oil you cook with. And so I'll dive into oil real quick and tell you how I keep track of these things. When you cook with oil, I have meat at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I cook those meats in bulk and I prep them all with oil. And so what I do is I just kind of assume that I'm having 1 tablespoon of oil a day. I use ghee personally. If I don't have any ghee, I use butter or pork fat. But I will just assume, across these 3 meals that I cooked in bulk in oil, I'm just going to assume it's about a tablespoon of oil. If I really want to play it safe, I'll say it's 2 because I don't want to think that I've hit my calorie goal, but I've actually gone over because of the oil that I used across my meals. So in my last meal of the day, usually meal number 6 in my tracker, I will put my 2 Alanis, my greens, my Full Mega fish oil, and my 1 tablespoon of oil. And I'll just copy that over every day. So it's already accounted for at the beginning of my day. I don't plan my day and then, oh yeah, all those other things, add them in and realize I went over at the end of the day. That's not the position you want to put yourself in. So we're tracking everything. It's not just our food. Next up, I touched on this a little bit, but we find ourselves really accidentally getting into maintenance calories, and we think we're eating healthy, but these sneaky calories that are getting in, or if I'm making my daughter, like literally, hang on, I made my daughter a peanut butter and jelly. She clearly did not want the crust today. Have you ever nibbled on this? Do you nibble on the foods that your kids don't finish or as you're cooking for them? My boyfriend's a professional chef. He has to taste everything as it's getting sent out. Things like that can really, day in and day out, get us out of that deficit and closer to our maintenance. And this is why we get stuck. So next week, we're going to talk about accuracy of tracking, weighing our food, portioning our food so you don't get stuck and blame tracking and leave tracking behind. It's not the tracking that's not working. It's how we are doing it. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. That's one of my alarms on my phone. If you're going to do it, do it. Okay? Because I promise you it's going to work and it's going to pay off. So next up, I want to talk about when actually maintenance calories is a win, when it's a good thing to see the scale get stuck. When you are traveling during the holidays, when you are just in a position where you're not cooking any of your meals, you're eating out for every meal. Now, hopefully this isn't all the time, but in situations where it's feeling really out of your hands, then you got to be honest with yourself about what you can control. Coming back from a holiday vacation and weighing the same that you did when you left, that's a win. And so recognize that we do want to do our best to be in that calorie deficit while we're in that weight loss phase. But when all is said and done, maintenance can be a win, especially when we look at other non-scale victories. Like, did you prioritize protein more than you normally do? Did you drink more water than you normally do? Did you set boundaries on alcohol intake? All these things, we're creating a lifestyle, we're creating long-term change in our life. We're not just trying to force this, because if you force it, it's not going to be natural. It's not going to be you, and it won't stick around. I want to finish up on calories by just letting you guys know that you aren't going to have to track forever. Okay. Oh, I love this topic. You are not going to have to track your food forever. We're going to talk about all things tracking. But before we do, I want to start us off with getting myself a tissue. Hang on. Sorry. I live in the desert. So much dust. Okay. So there are people online who are posting that like the skinniest, most toned women, so lean, you can see their abs. What I eat in a day, 3,000 calories. Intuitive eating, and it's these big bowls, these huge meals, these giant recipes, all this food. I need you to know right now that they earned that. They spent the time tracking very diligently and training their metabolism to listen to them and to be able to handle the ebbs and flows of either intuitive eating, or they reverse dieted themselves and train their metabolism to handle more calories without affecting their body fat percentage. Food is fuel, and your body can handle so much food without gaining weight, but you have to earn that and you have to get your metabolism fired up for it. And that's how I will coach you. I will coach you how to track diligently and accurately. We will reverse diet you. We will get you back to maintenance. You'll be using your food as fuel. I'll teach you how to intuitively eat, but that is a journey, and you have to be willing to do the work every step of the way. And it's not fun. It's boring. It's challenging. It's not easy. But what kind of life do you want long term? Because this is just a short blip of time where you're going to feel so empowered and so confident by just controlling what you put in your mouth and writing it down. So let's talk about what that looks like. Tracking 101, tracking your nutrition. If this is total foreign country to you, what I would love you to do is grab your nutrition tracker and just start typing in like what you normally eat. So just sit there and be like, well, I usually have yogurt in the morning. I usually have granola in it. Oh, there's a barcode scanner on here. Okay, I'm going to scan the barcode. I'm going to scan the barcode. Oh, it says half a cup. Well, I definitely have more than half a cup. We'll get into that next week. Start plugging in what you eat. And then you'll realize, whoa, I have a lot of fat grams in my diet. Or, whoa, I really undereat. I didn't realize. That's for step number one. Step number two is something that I want to say before we go into how I do it, is I really don't want you all just entering in like meatball sandwich, just typing it in, meatball sandwich, or salmon risotto. If the meal you ate, you can't itemize it, I really don't want you eating it right now at this stage of your goal, because that is not accurate. And so you're going to say, Coach Jess, I've been in a calorie deficit all week. And I'll look and it'll literally say breakfast tacos. Do you know how many? I could make breakfast tacos that are 50 calories each, and I can make breakfast tacos that are 300 calories each. Okay. There is no way to know who made that and who entered that in. So I need you to do your best, especially with the support of the barcode scanner, to itemize what you're eating. And while that may seem inconvenient, I have a really big mindset message for you at the end of this call to get your head in the right place for what is truly inconvenient. So do your best to actually do all the ingredients. And if that's a pain in the butt, then you should probably simplify your meals and simplify your recipes. And again, we'll talk about that mindset here in a bit. So the only time that I'm really okay with you guys like cold entering things in is if it's like impossible. And so like a California roll. Yeah. Or Caesar salad. Like sometimes if you're going out to eat, or if you're just like, it's the end of your day and you're like, I don't know, because you know what's normally going to happen is the cold entries are usually of higher calories than what it would be in reality. And so I'd rather you assume that you overate and make those edits during the other parts of your day, hopefully. So just keep that in mind, run it by me. If you're going out to eat, send me a text of the restaurant and I will help you choose something and kind of walk you through how to track it. Now, here's what I like to do. Most of you know what I'm about to say. I love to pre-track. I like to pre-track what I'm going to eat. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go into tomorrow's food log. I actually just did this. I'm going to go into tomorrow's food log and I'm going to track. Look, I'm already tracked for tomorrow. This is what I'm having for breakfast. That's what I'm having for a snack. There's lunch. There's dinner. Notice, and then there's all my little extras I told you guys about. I ain't lying. Pre-track what you're going to eat. And I guarantee you're going to say, whoa, I've hit my calories, but I haven't hit my protein yet. Or I went way over on my fat grams and over on my calories because I was trying to hit my protein. Look at what you did. And then make the edits. This is where we learn. So today, for example, or for tomorrow, I planned my whole day. I hadn't hit my protein goal or my calorie goal. I was under. And while that's cool, is it okay to be under on your calories if you hit your protein? Yes, but I don't want your metabolism to slow down. Let's train our metabolism to handle that top level of food that I'm assigning to you. If you're not hungry at all, you're like, I'm so full, Jess, I do not want more food. Fine, cool, okay. But just keep in mind, we're training our metabolism to handle as much food as possible while still being in a calorie deficit. So I didn't hit my protein, I didn't hit my carbs. So first thing I do is I look at all my protein sources for the day. So I had sausage in the morning, chicken at lunch, chicken at dinner. Okay, well, what if I added more sausage? Ooh, well, then I actually went over on my calories because my fat grams went too high. Okay, I'm not going to do that. Okay, what if I did more chicken? Okay, now I've hit my protein, great, but I still have some carbs left over. Okay, where are my carbs coming from in my day? Well, it's coming from the rice. Okay, what if I had more rice? Okay, I was planning on having a half cup. What if I had a full cup? Whoa, that was way over. Okay, what if I had 3/4 of a cup? Dang, I still went over. Okay, what other carbs am I having that maybe aren't as calorie dense as rice? Well, veggies. What if I just had more veggies or added a veggie? What if I went over on my fats? Well, what if I didn't have cheese on my sandwich? Would that make it fit? So pull things, increase things, add things, and learn what ingredients and food items help you reach your goal. It's a puzzle, but I would much rather you fit all the puzzle pieces together the day before rather than eating whatever you wanted all day. And then you get to dinner time and you're like, I only have 100 calories left and I have 100 grams of protein left to eat. What are you going to do then? Pre-track your food. A lot of people will pre-track their entire day besides dinner because they have to cook for their whole family or they just don't know what they're going to eat. They don't have the liberty to choose ahead of time, which we can get into one-on-one, having boundaries with your family when you're on a certain journey. But they leave enough room in the evening so that they can have some wiggle room to create something kind of just on the fly. I would rather you have even more space left over afterwards. So that's pre-tracking. Remember, you have the barcode scanner. Remember that you can copy the entire day over to the next day. So if I'm going to have the same thing for all my meals besides dinner, I'm going to hit my 3 dots. I'm going to copy the entire day over and just delete dinner and re-enter something else. You can copy meals over. It's the same thing for breakfast every day. Just copy it over, or better yet, save it as a recipe. You can actually save recipes and share them with other people in my one-on-one coaching app. So if you and your husband are tracking, have him track it, and he can share it with you, or vice versa. I won't tell you who to pick. Also, I kind of wanted to touch on, I know we're talking about weighing our food next week, but tracking your meals when you eat out. We're going to talk about navigating eating out in a couple weeks, but the more that you can be accurate about tracking at home, you're going to have a much better idea of being able to look at a meal or see a meal on a menu and being like, whoa, that's a lot of calories, or that doesn't have enough protein in it, or that looks like about 5 ounces of meat. So pay attention to what you're doing at home. So when you go out to eat, go over to a friend's house, you know what boundaries to set and what you want to or don't want to order. Notice how I didn't say what you can or can't order. It's what you want to order because you want your goal. Yeah, I want a pizza, but you know what I want more? My goals. All right. Moving on. What to eat? All right, Jess, what I'm eating is not working. What do I eat? Tell me what to eat. So I do have meal guides for sale. They're $30 a pop with 3 breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack options for you. They're not calorie specific, but I do my best to give you a little guidance on the portions. And again, you get to change those ratios to fit your macro specifically, and you can always message me for questions on that. But if you need ideas of what to eat, go ahead and pop into the link. I'll put it in the description and purchase a meal guide for yourself. You'll get it within 24 hours to your inbox. But the rule of thumb with what to eat, especially when you're first getting going on tracking, is you'll probably hear this thing called like macro balanced. Like, this meal is really macro balanced. Macro balance just means that there's not one shockingly high macro. Now, if protein is ridiculously high, cool, love that. For blood sugar balance throughout the day and for satiation throughout the day, we want to make sure we're spreading our protein out, but we don't want a meal that is so shockingly high in fat or so shockingly high in carbs that it's taking up all the carbs and fats that we're allowed to have for the day. You don't want to get to the end of your day and not be allowed to eat not have any carbs left to spend. Now, with my coaching method, your goal is really calories and protein. So if your carbs and fats are interchanged day in and day out, as long as it adds up to your calories and protein, I'm happy. But we want to look at our plate and choose one protein source, one carb source, and one veggie source. And what that will look like is the cliche chicken, rice, and broccoli. But you know what else it could look like? Salmon, quinoa, and asparagus. You know what else could look like? Ground turkey, pasta, and peas. Want to know what else it could look like? Freaking meatballs and spaghetti with some peas in it. It could be steak and potatoes and a broccolini. Okay. There are so many proteins. There are so many carb sources. There are so many veggie sources that you are going to get beautiful variety in your meals. And they don't have to be boring a la carte on the plate. They can be in bowls. They can be in wraps. A sandwich is technically the bread is the carb, the meat is the protein, and then you have your veggies. Now, beware of condiments and sauces. Try to go for the lower calorie ones because at the end of the day, we want our food to fuel us in these very simple macro balanced things like carb sources, grains and breads, potatoes, veggie sources, or fruit if you'd rather have fruit in the morning. And your protein sources, you've got the variety right there. So get out of your own head and enjoy that, the simplicity of tracking, the simplicity of shopping, the simplicity of prepping. And we will dive into this in a few weeks too with meal prepping and grocery shopping. I'll be right there with you for it. Now, some people ask me, can I eat whatever I want as long as it hits my macros? Because I had 10 protein shakes and a box of cookies and I hit my calories and protein. Yeah. So calories are calories are calories. But there's something to be said about the foods that you're eating causing inflammation in your body. There's something to be said about the foods you're eating not giving you the nutrients you need to feel your best. You are not going to continue to stick to your calories. You're not going to feel good enough to take your walk. You're not going to feel good enough to wake up early. You're not going to have the temperament to keep your relationships and your career in line if you're not fueling your body with the appropriate things. And so we really do want to stick to whole foods. But that's not to say that if you have a sweet tooth or if you promised your kids ice cream tonight, plug it in ahead of time. Make room for it because you'll find that if you're going to have ice cream tonight, then you can't have you're not going to have avocado at lunch because that fat from the avocado is going to get put towards the fat to your ice cream. Make room for it, pre-track it, and learn what's happening when you have those glasses of wine. And you'll really understand why you've been stuck at the same weight or gaining weight because you keep throwing yourself up in maintenance. And we don't notice it because we don't make adjustments at other parts of our day. This is not a punishment and reward thing. It's not. It is checks and balances. It's fuel. It works. And it's great. So before I get into the mindset piece, I want to give you guys a full-blown insurance policy because we're just talking calories and protein right now. We're just talking macros. Again, you can eat whatever you want. But I want you to feel your best so you can keep showing up for yourself. I want you to be happy to be eating these things. I want you to have an insurance policy on your foundational health because a lot of people, they say, I'm hitting my calories and protein. I'm not losing the weight. Okay, well, are you getting enough fish oils? Are you getting enough micronutrients? How's your gut health? All these things. So I'm going to give you the 4 supplements that will skyrocket your results, how you feel, everything. And this is laid out in the foundational stack with First Worm. The first is going to be OptiGreens 50. This is your gut health. Your gut health, you guys. You could be eating all this food, but if your gut lining and bacteria is not there to break it down and send it where it needs to go, sorry. You're going to be inflamed. You're not going to feel full from your meals. You might feel like so stuffed from your meals. OptiGreens 50 will change your life. Change your life. packed with probiotics, packed with digestive enzymes, has a glycemic balance blend to balance your blood sugar. This is the most complete greens powder on the market, and I would be doing you a disservice to not talk about it. The next thing in this is going to be full omega. This is your omega-3 fish oil. All the fats we eat besides wild-caught fatty fish. This is salmon, mackerel, herring. Other than those, and what's that other one that's in the can? Anchovies. Unless you're eating those fish 3 to 5 times a week, you're getting too much omega-6 in your diet and not enough omega-3, which is going to cause inflammation at a cellular level, which is going to cause heightened cortisol, which is going to cause stubborn belly fat. And we don't want inflammation in our body because our body can't focus on burning fat and feeling good if it's too busy putting out the fires that we're getting from this mismanagement of our omega fats. So full omega is an omega-3 that is so efficaciously dosed with your EPA and DHA, which are your omega-3s, that you will notice a difference. Okay, so we have OptiGreens 50, we have full omega. Next is going to be microfactor. Have you guys ever had those cabinets that have like all the different pill bottles that have different dosages, some with food, some with not, some twice a day, some with water, like, and you get paralysis by analysis? So microfactor is a daily nutrient pack. I should go get it. I don't want to get up. Is a daily nutrient pack that has, and it has a fatty acid. This is different than omega-3s. It's just our general fatty acids. It has a fruit and veggie capsule. It has a probiotic. It has your multivitamins. It has an antioxidant and a CoQ10. Wow, I can't believe I memorized that. It has all those bottles that you know you should be taking, but you're not quite sure why. The fish oils are all stuck together because you're not taking them. This is your one-stop shop. And what it gives you is cellular energy, because all of those micronutrients that we typically get from getting tons and tons and tons of fruits and veggies, a variety of fruits and veggies, seasonal fruits and veggies every day, which is really hard to do. I would rather you guys focus on consistent, easy to prep fruits and veggies you love, keeping it simple. But let's cover our energy with microfactor, cellular energy. So micronutrients help us utilize our macronutrients. Our food is fuel, right? But our food can't fuel us if we don't have the micronutrients to break it down and get it there. This is like a sidekick to our gut health. Microfactor. Last one is going to be your protein. Level 1 protein is the best protein y'all could use for yourselves. It is low temperature processed, sits so light on the stomach, digests so easily, and it's so delicious. And so when you're like, whoa, I'm so full, I still haven't hit my protein, I'm having cravings between lunch and dinner, I have a protein shake in the morning, I have a protein shake between lunch and dinner. It's just a scoop with water. It's delicious and it does the job. And it'll really help fill that gap. So this is the foundational stack. I'm going to go ahead and link it below. If you want to maximize your results, if you want this full-blown insurance policy on what you're doing, those are the 4 products I recommend without a doubt. The other 2 are going to be collagen and magnesium. Extra protein, better skin, and improved sleep. Magnesium goes really nicely with the greens at night. Okay, we're going to finish up. I'm going to tell you this right now. Get out of your own way. We think tracking is so inconvenient. You're eating food all day. Why not write it down? You're eating food all day. Why not choose things that make more sense for your body? You're eating food all day. Why not just, before you put it on the plate, put it on the scale and then put it on the plate? Pre-tracking is literally a no nonsense, no excuse kind of thing. But the problem with pre-tracking is you promised yourself what you were going to eat. And we're really afraid to let ourselves down. And we're really afraid to trust the fact that this is going to work. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to work. So you need to trust yourself in sticking to what you decided to eat that day. And if it didn't work, why? Maybe you didn't hit your fiber. Maybe your meals were too spread out. Maybe you need more snacks. We will work on that together. But people say there must be another way. There's got to be another way. Tracking just didn't work for me. Tracking is the only thing that'll work. All the other things that work are because you're in a calorie deficit. And it's really hard to stay in a calorie deficit if you're not keeping track of it. It's one extra step, and it takes a little bit of learning, and it takes a few extra minutes of time. What do you really want? And who do you want to become? Because if you want to be a more disciplined person, a more reliable person, a healthier, happier, more confident person, this one task can really help you do that. And I know that culturally and nostalgically, there's a lot of dopamine around big meals, extravagant food, eating out. But is it if you're showing up to those meals, to those events, to those restaurants, overweight, unhappy, self-conscious? No. So choose a different dopamine hit and let's do the work together. All right, you guys, I love you. I care about you. Next week, we are talking about portioning and weighing our food. I cannot wait because it's easier than you think. And I've got your back. Bye.